Today's how to rotate your tires. For this how-to, you only need 3 things: jack, lug nut, wrench thing, and a car with tires. I recommend changing your tires when it's wet and rainy outside. That way you don't get too hot. Step 1, using the lug nut wrench thingy, start taking off your lug nuts. Wait, you say? If I take off my lug nuts now, the car will fall on the ground. True. But we're not going to take them all the way off. We're just going to loosen them a little. If you wait until you jack the car up to loosen the lug nuts, then your tire will just spin and the lug nuts won't loosen. Pro tip number 1, if you're having a hard time loosening your lug nuts, try a piece of pipe on the end of your lug nut wrench thingy. Just take the piece of pipe, slide it over the edge, and it gives you a little bit more leverage for pulling. Yeah. Loosen all the lug nuts, but don't take them all the way off. After you've loosened all the lug nuts on both the front and rear tire, then you're ready to jack up the side of the car. Locate the jacking point by consulting your owner's manual or just guessing. And then start jacking up your car. Jack up your car just high enough that the tires come off the ground. Is that off the ground? Oh, the back one's not off the ground. Okay, they're both off the ground. Now use the lug nut wrench thingy to completely remove the lugs. Notice you don't need the pipe. They come off very easily now. There's 5 of them on this tire. Your tire might have more or less. When you take off the last lug nut, one of 2 things is going to happen. Either number 1, your tire will come off, or number 2, it won't. Looks like we got a won't. In the case of a won't, I prefer the give it a kick method. You take your foot and give it a kick. Okay. Maybe if I kick over here. Oh. Nothing, I was just kicking my car, sorry. What the crap? What the crap? Are all the lug nuts gone? From my understanding, usually when you take the lug nuts out, the tire falls off. And if not, you kick it and then it falls off. This tire is still on. I hope this never happens on the side of the road. I call this hit the tire with a hammer really hard method. Don't hit the tire directly though, because you could damage the tire. So I use a piece of 2x4 and hit it. Ah! That could have been your tire. I don't think this is how the pros do it. This is hit your hammer with a piece of wood method. I'm talking to my camera. It's right there on the tire. I'm trying to teach people how to take a tire off a car. It's not working very well. Kicking method. Oh. Yeah! Woo! Pro tip number 2, lose some weight before sitting on your garage chair. Pro tip number 4, while you have the tires off, is a good time to check the width of your brake pads. This side looks pretty good. There's some rust on the disc. That's good for stopping power. Alright, it's time to put the tires back on. Hopefully this is the easy part. And it's raining, so I'm not even hot. Find the tire that you took off the front of the car, and now we're going to put it on the back. In order to do this, you have to line up these holes with those holes. I like to set the tire on my toe so I can bounce it around a little bit, help get it lined up. Once the holes are lined up, start the lug nuts in with your fingers. Start the lug nuts in with your lug nut wrench thingy. Now be careful at this point not to cross thread the lug nuts, or you could ruin them, or you could also ruin the hub that they go into, which would be bad. Don't tighten these all the way, just snug them up a bit. This is what happens if you try and take the lug nuts off while the car is in the air. Repeat that procedure with the front tire. Right, as soon as you got the lugs tight as you can get them with your hand while the car's in the air, it's time to let the car down. Check carefully for any little kids under the car. Then slowly and carefully lower your jack. The last step is to tighten your lug nuts as tight as you can with your hands, or pro tip number 5, use a torque wrench. You should always tighten in a star pattern. So go start at 1, go across, 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 and I usually do that 2 times. Tighten the lugs on both your front and back wheel. Put all your tools away so your wife doesn't get angry, and then you're done. Unless your car has 2 sides, and then you have to do the other side too.